Leo, thanks for visiting. And I have a bit of a cold. I hope I don't cough or sneeze or anything like that. You can probably tell, I don't know, maybe you can't, I don't know, but I'm going to try and get all of these out as quickly as I can, if I can, just see how I feel. But yeah, hopefully this will be fine. Yeah, as I always ask you, if you like this reading, please like, subscribe, leave a comment if you'd like to, only if you'd like to, and I'll start your reading right now for Leo. Oh, that was a croaky bit in my voice, sorry about that. So the first card, I'm not going to say sorry. Everyone says don't say sorry, don't say sorry. Okay, so I'm going to try not to say sorry in this whole reading. The first card you have for your past is the Four of Cups. Yeah, so I'm getting a bit of a mixture here. There's kind of a mixture of sympathy and frustration as well. So you had sympathy for someone, you did care about them, they had some problem, but you're kind of also a bit frustrated with them at the same time. You know, I think you were trying to help someone, and I actually think it was probably them who came to you in the first place with their problems. And you know, you'd seen this before. I think they'd come to you with the same problem or a similar problem before about the same situation, and they were kind of going backwards and forwards, repeating this pattern. And I think this was also, yeah, I think this was a relationship problem that they had, and it was just kind of, they'd come to you, you'd advise them, they'd go and do the same thing again, and they'd come to you again, and they wouldn't listen, and they'd go back again and do the same thing. It was that kind of very frustrating pattern. And I think other people also had tried to help them as well, and they'd kind of given up on them. There weren't many people around them left. I think a lot of people have kind of walked off, given up. And you know, I think you really wanted to be happy. You wanted them to be happy, I should say. But you know, there was this frustration as well. So I think you were kind of really mixed about this. My feeling is actually that you should keep on trying to be there for this person, because I think when this all inevitably falls down, and it will, they're going to need a friend, they're going to need someone around them. And again, you know, I think a lot of people have already left, they've lost a lot of people, so I think they might not have anyone left, so it might be down to you. You know, of course, this is all up to you, but I am seeing a big crash coming to them, and I think they will need someone around them when that time comes, they really will. So yeah, just have a think about that if that resonates with you. So the next card you have your past is the Two of Swords. Yeah, I think yeah, you're the perfect person for them to talk to, even though you're frustrated and annoyed. You were the perfect person for them to talk to, because yeah, you've been through these kind of difficult relationship situations yourself, very heartbreaking, very stressful kind of relationship situations. I'm really seeing that. I'm seeing you've been through this stress, very heavy stress. And I think there is one specific person who you were in a relationship with this stress around it. And I think you're probably actually still thinking about this person. You were at this time, and I think you probably still are now. And I also think they were probably thinking about you as well. I think they still are, but they weren't just good thoughts. Not that they were thinking horrible thoughts about you, but it was kind of like, I think what they remembered the most was the stress and the pressure, because I think that really overwhelmed this whole relationship. You know, I think there was a lot of pressure around this coming from some people outside of this, but I think there was also pressure inside of that, but I think it came from the outside, if that makes sense. And yeah, I am getting this feeling that you'd both actually like to revisit this in some form. You know, I think a lot of things were left up in the air, kind of undecided, you know, without any closure. And I think when you first separated, it probably would have been way too exhausting for either of you to even think about talking again, let alone you know, getting back together and revisiting anything. But you know, a lot of time's passed since then, so you know, yeah, it's unfinished. It feels unfinished, and it is unfinished. I mean, if you look at this card, you'll see there's a crescent moon, and it's not a full moon, so, well, yet. So things are incomplete. They're still not quite rounded like a big full moon. They're not complete. So I think at the time of this separation, you're both so kind of locked into your positions, fueled by this outside pressure, that no one wanted to come forward to either close things off properly or come together again. You're kind of locked into your positions, unhappy, and then I think you just went your separate ways without any kind of closure. So I do think that things will come into some kind of completion between you at some time. I actually think the first move will probably come from them, but I am seeing, there was all this pressure. I keep on seeing that, so much pressure, but I think it's either been lifted now or it's lifting, it's starting to lift. And so what's going to happen is this blindfold's going to come off, and they're going to be able to work out like what they want to do. They're going to be able to stand up and walk forward now when they see everything clearly, and they will, I think. So the next card you have your past is the Lovers. So this card, it's obviously about love, we all know that. It's also about decisions. And I think you will have a lot of decisions to make when they do eventually come back into your life. And they will in some form, I keep on seeing that. I think one of these decisions might be about the people who are surrounding you or surrounding them, or it might be both. They might have been surrounding both of you. What I mean by that is they were surrounding both of you, but it might have been coming from their side, their friends or family, or from yours, or it could have been both. There's I keep on seeing this again and again, all this outside pressure that you had to put up with. The other thing I'm seeing here is that I think you also have someone else around you. I think you might actually even have more than one option around you, but I don't think you've resolved this old situation yet, because there's this unfinished feeling. I keep on getting that. There's a trinity in this card with this tree of knowledge and the tree of life and the angel. So the trinity is kind of, the body, mind and spirit. And I think this is how you would have loved them. I think you did love them like that, but I think if you had have had the opportunity without all this pressure, you would have totally loved them with everything you had. That's true love. When you love with all of those three, not just one, not just two, that is true love. That doesn't mean that it lasts forever just because you have true love. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But that's how you would have loved them. And I'm looking at this pointed hill as well in the middle of this couple, and I think you did connect really deeply with them at one time, and I think you can definitely do that again. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you'll be lovers again, but you will be able to connect on that deep level in some way again. Again, if this is resonating with you, you will have to work through whatever was going on with these outside influences. You'll have to do that anyway, because I don't think you're going to be able to withstand all that pressure around you again. So the first card you have your present is the Seven of Pentacles. So this man's obviously, he's worked really hard, he's planted the tree and he's watered it and he's done all the work, and he has this great big tree with lots of coins, and I wish I had a tree like that with lots of money on it, but I don't. So he has, and he's looking at it and he's very proud of himself, and I can see why he is. So this is about you. I think you worked really, really hard on yourself after this separation happened. And you've really kept that up in a lot of areas of your life, and your work is the one big area, I think, where you really were focusing on. And you really kept your head down, and I think while you're with this person, I think you might have actually lost yourself a bit, not just because you were wrapped up in this relationship, but it was more about this pressure around this and the drama and everything like that. And I think you really struggled to concentrate on a lot of things outside of that love situation and the drama around it. So, you kept everything going, you didn't lose your job or anything dramatic like that, but I think this whole thing just really drained you. You didn't have much energy for a lot else, so you're really just going through the motions in the rest of your life, doing what you had to do, treading water, going to work, doing your job, coming back again, kind of flopping into bed exhausted. You know, you didn't have much time to actually you know, do anything outside of that, or to really enjoy life even. But then I think when this all finished and you came out of that, you might have used your work as some kind of, or, you know, just as a focus really, especially in the early days. I think you were like, oh, I'm just going to focus on my work, and that's going to kind of distract me from this hurt, this heartbreak. And then I think after that you kept on going with the momentum of your work that you were doing, and then I think you really started to focus properly, and you're seeing the results of that now. I think, you know, it's taken a lot of time, a lot of focus, and yeah, you can just see it starting to pay off now. I also think that there's an extra reward, some kind of financial reward that's going to come to you soon as well. Maybe not directly from your work. I think it might be something outside of that. It might be something like, you know, someone offering you an extra contract or a side job or something outside of your main work. So that's going to bring some extra money in for you. But I think this is also going to be something that's really interesting to you, something really exciting. So I'm seeing that. So yeah, the next card you have for your present is the Empress. Beautiful, beautiful card. Yeah, this beautiful nurturing Empress, this beautiful nurturing woman. So yeah, I think this is how you're going to have to be with this friend who needs you in the Four of Cups. I think that's how you're going to have to be with them, a little bit like the Empress, and that's what I was seeing there in that card as well. So, you know, you're going to have to be loving, nurturing, and what they need is a friend. I know this is frustrating. I know you'd love to tell them, do this, do that, what are you doing? And that's what a true friend does. A true friend doesn't sit back and go, oh, everything you do is fine, great, I'll let you kind of fall in the water, I don't mind, whatever, that's fine, you're great. That's a false friend. A true friend will say, watch out for that, you're going to fall, be careful, I don't think you should make that decision because I really care about you. And you risk, you know, you run the risk of being shut out or someone being angry with you if you are a true friend, but you don't care because you care more for them and their welfare. That's how you are. But what I'm seeing here is that advice isn't really going to help this person. I know that sounds really strange. I know you want to give them advice. I'm exactly the same. I would be the same. But they're the ones that are going to have to come to this realization, and they're the ones that are going to have to change things for themselves. And I think really when this all comes crashing down, they're really just going to need someone to support them, care for them, wrap a blanket around them, just be there for them and just love them and just listen to them. I think that's all they're going to need at that time. And then what will happen is, if they get that love, if they get that support, that'll give them the foundations and the confidence to grow out of that, stand on their own 2 feet, and then move up from that. So I think that's what you're going to have to do. And I think a lot of people underestimate nurturing and loving and kindness, and a lot of people underestimate mothers and the importance of them. And they're really the backbone of strong people, strong children. And so you need to be that backbone for them, just to help them to get their strength, learn by themselves, pick themselves up, and then, you know, grow and get strong and then move on. That's what I'm seeing in that. So the last card you have for your present is the Three of Wands. Yeah, so this is obviously the waiting card. It's also another Trinity card, like the Lover's card, you know, with these 3 wands, and also there are 3 ships that are coming in. So I think, you know, this Trinity, this body, this mind, this soul, I think this ex-love of yours, I think what's going to happen is they're going to finally understand how you love them, and I think they're finally going to start to appreciate, not fully, but they're just going to start to think about this and appreciate, this is how they loved me, this is what they did for me, this is how they felt. they did give a lot to me. There are a lot of pressures, but actually despite that, I can see that they really did love me. They really did care about me. It's like, you know, they're by themselves looking out, they're remembering things, and they're finally starting to understand. Not fully, I don't think, at this stage, but they're starting to come around, they're starting to see, and this is the time when the blindfold starts to come off in the Two of Swords. Now, you know, once again, I keep on seeing this. There are other people in this relationship with these Three of Wands. Not a third party, but outside people who are kind of interfering. And yeah, but the thing is, this man's completely by himself, and also he has his back to us. So I think this is what this is telling you, that if this connection's ever going to work in any way, even as friends, you're both going to have to turn your back on these people who are causing you these problems. That's what I'm seeing in that card. So the first card you have, your future, is the Six of Swords. Yeah, so this is the same message in this card. If you really want to have any kind of relationship with this person, you're going to have to turn your back, move away, distance yourself, delete anything you can to get away from these people who really caused this trouble for you the first time. Because if you don't do that, you'll have all this trouble again the second time, and it really won't last if you've got that again. Now, I'm not just blaming these people, because I think there was also a bit of weakness around the sex. You know, they could have stood up a lot more than they did. And you as well, you don't get away with this. You probably also could have put your foot down a lot harder than you did. I think everyone in this situation probably could have dealt with this a lot differently and a lot better. But of course, you know, it's easier when you look back and see things. You can all, it's easy, as they say, the old saying, it's easy to be wise after the crime. So yeah, I can really see another chance here if that's really what you want, if that is what you want. But, you know, I don't want you to make the same mistakes again, and that's why I have to keep on telling you, get away from these people, get away from these people. Don't let them bother you, don't let them influence you. You know, and also I'm seeing in this card that you both need to protect each other as well from these outside influences, a bit like this man's helping this woman in this boat, or this woman, I should say. You know, he's helping her, he's protecting her, he's guiding her. And I think you'll have to be like this for each other. And you'll have to be a very secure unit, like a solid, strong wall against these forces. That's what I'm seeing there. So I think you're always going to have to keep that up, because I think there's always a chance that they will come back. So the next card you have, your future, is the Ace of Wands. I love this card. I love energy, I love force, I love moving forward quickly. I love that. So you're going to be really, really busy. I think this is about this opportunity that I'm seeing in the Seven of Pentacles, and I think this is probably going to take up a lot of your time at this time. This is showing me again a similar thing, that it won't just be about money for you. I'm getting this really enthusiastic feeling around this. You know, you're going to really, really love this. You're going to really enjoy this. I think you might be tested a bit as well. There's a little bit of a clash, I think, when this situation comes back, when this love person comes back, this ex-love comes and reconnects again. I think you're going to have to keep up this same level of concentration to make this project work. And you might have to compartmentalize a bit, because I think in the past, you let your relationship problems kind of take over everything else, especially your work. You couldn't concentrate on anything else. And also, I think when you left this relationship, you were 100% focused on your work and not a lot else. So I think at this time, you're going to have to keep up everything to get it to all work properly. So I think this is about you having to balance things and compartmentalize things, and just being mindful when, you know, the balance tips too far one way or the other way. So that's just a reminder there about that. So yeah, the last card you have for your future is the Knight of Swords. So yeah, yeah, you're going to have, I think you're going to have a lot of ideas, a lot of really, really, really good ideas actually, and they're all going to be kind of rushing into your mind, and this is all around this work thing. You know, I think this is telling you to kind of make sure your enthusiasm and your ideas and your excitement are kind of directed in the right way, in a kind of a calm, organized way, because obviously this night's the opposite of that. You know, I think this is a new thing for you, and I think this is, you know, you're going to be around new people, all new people, a big group of new people that you don't know that well. So I think this is telling you to maybe just be a little bit careful, get to know these people, get to know what they expect, get to know what they're used to, before you kind of come rushing in with all these ideas and kind of saying, oh, this is a good idea, we have to do that, we should do this, because you might be treading on someone's toes. You know, some other people might have the old idea and you might say, oh, this is a terrible idea, I've got a much better one, and the person who's thought of the idea is sitting right next to you, and so you have to be very careful. So yes, you're going to have these fantastic ideas, so I would say write them all down, put them somewhere outside of this, sit back while you're in this new job or this situation or whatever this is, project, and sit back, get to know everyone properly, kind of suss things out a bit, work out you know, what people are like, you know, do all of that. Just get to know everything first before you kind of rush in, because you don't want to scare people away, you don't want people to think you're pushy and too difficult, you don't want people to be upset with you saying things. So yeah, just I can see that you're very enthusiastic because you've got the Ace of Wands, but then this is kind of the downside of that, so just curb that a little bit until you kind of know a bit more about the surroundings that you're in. That's what I'm seeing. So Leo, I hope this resonated with you, but yeah, as you know, general readings can't always resonate with everyone, but again, if you like this reading, please like, subscribe, leave a comment if you'd like to, and thank you so much for watching.